Hello and welcome back to Attiny85. In this video, I'm going to show you to make this really cool jitterbug robot with using an Attiny85 microcontroller and a few other basic components. Let's get started. And these are the items that you're going to need to make for this project. The items you're going to need: the copper wire, which is 14 gauges, some regular wire to wire the circuit. You're also going to need two 3-volt button cell batteries, a vibrating DC motor, two red LEDs, and one green LED. You're also going to need two slide switches, an 8-pin IC socket holder, an Attiny85 microcontroller, and two 3-volt button cell battery holders. Now, let's go ahead and assemble this project and let's get started. First, I'm going to start with the battery holders and slide switches. I want to connect the center pin of the slide switch to the positive terminal of the 3-volt button cell battery holder. And before I do that, I want to bend the positive lead of the 3-volt button cell battery holder, just like this. And now take the center pin of the slide switch and place it in. Put a little bit of super glue on the 3-volt button cell battery holder, and attach the slide switch into place. Doing this will make soldering a lot easier. Spray some activator, and now solder it into place. Repeat the same process with the second one. Next, I want to put a little bit of super glue on that slide switch, and connect the two slide switches together. Next, I want to take the 8-pin IC socket holder and connect it to the 3-volt button cell battery holder. Put a little bit of super glue, and now glue it into place. And put a little bit more super glue to make it stay in place better. And there, it should look just like this. Next, I want to solder to the negative terminal of the 3-volt button cell battery holder, and take the vibrating DC motor and solder one of the leads to the negative. Polarity doesn't matter. And now put a little bit of super glue on the vibrating DC motor so that way it stays in place better. And so far, it should look just like this. Next, I want to solder tin all of the leads of the 8-pin IC socket holder. Next, I'm going to take a bridge wire and solder it to pin 4 of the 8-pin IC socket holder, and now solder it to the negative terminal of the 3-volt button cell battery holder. Cut off the excess. Next, I'm going to solder tin one of the leads of the slide switch. I'm going to take a positive wire and solder it into place. And now solder the positive wire onto the second terminal of the vibrating DC motor. Next, I'm going to go and test the circuit by taking the 3-volt button cell battery and place it into the holder. Turn on the switch. There, the vibrating DC motor works. Next, I'm going to solder tin one of the leads of the second slide switch. Connect another positive wire onto pin 8 of the IC socket holder, and now solder the wire to the slide switch. Next, I'm going to take this green LED and solder the leads. Next, I'm going to bend the leads of the green LED. Bend them in this orientation. And now solder the cathode of the LED to pin 4, which is the common ground. And now solder the anode to pin 5 of the IC socket holder. Next, I'm going to cut off the leads of pin 1, 2, and 3 because those leads are not needed. I also don't need pin 7. Next, I'm going to take this thick copper gauge wire, and about this length looks good to me, and I'm going to go and cut two pieces that match. And these two wires will connect as the antennas or the eyes of the robot, which will connect to the red LEDs. Next, I'm going to remove a little bit of the insulation on both ends of the wires. There we go, just like this. Next, I'm going to bend one end of the wire in a 90-degree angle. Do that with both wires, and there, it should look just like this. Next, I'm going to solder tin both ends of the wires. There we go, just like this. Next, solder the first wire to pin 6. Next, solder the second wire to pin 4, which is the common ground. Next, I'm going to bend the wires over so they're not facing straight, so that way it gives it more of a natural look. Oops, I'm going to need to resolder that wire. And there we go, it should look just like this. Next, I'm going to take the red LED and I'm going to connect it to the wire, which is connected to pin 6. And then take the cathode of the second LED and attach it to the wire, which is connected to pin 4, which is the common ground. And now solder tin the remaining leads. Solder a negative wire to this cathode of the first LED. And now wrap the wire around the thicker wire. Wind it tightly. Cut the wire to fit. Remove the insulation. Solder tin it. And then solder it to the common ground. And repeat the same process with the second LED by connecting the anode onto a positive wire, wrap it around, and connect it to pin 6. Cut it to fit, remove the insulation, solder tin it, and now connect to pin 6. There we go, just like that. And there, all of the LEDs are now connected. Next, I'm going to place the Attiny85 microcontroller into the IC socket holder. Put it into place, just like this. And now finally, take the 3-volt button cell battery, place it into the holder, turn on the switch to see if it works. And there you have it, it works. And there, the circuit is now complete. Next, I'm going to take this thick copper gauge wire and estimate where the legs are going to be. And now cut 3 even wires. Next, I'm going to remove the insulation on the tips. There we go, just like that. Bend the wire in one direction. Evenly, just like that. Repeat the same process 2 more times. And now take the pliers and bend one lead of the wire into this direction. Repeat the same process with the opposite end. There we go, just like that. And now take the pliers and place it on the center of the wire to remove that loop. And there, make it flat, just like that. And there, now you should have 3 identical wires that look just like this. Next, I'm going to take the pliers onto the bare wire, just like this. Bend it. In doing that, we'll create the feet, and then carefully try to make them all identical. And there, you should have 3 identical pieces, just like this. Next, I'm going to take some hot glue and place it on the center of the robot. And now glue the legs down into place, and place some extra hot glue to hold it into place better. Repeat the same process with the other 2 legs. And there we go, should look just like this. And now the robot can stand. Sort of. What I need to do is I need to bend the legs so that way it's flush with the table. there you have it, the project is now complete. Let's go ahead and test it out. And now it's time to test it out. Turn on the first switch, and the LEDs are now flashing. Turn on the second switch, and the vibrating DC motor is working. And there, the robot is now moving. And there you have it. Now you know how to make your very own Attiny85 Jitterbug robot with using just a few simple parts. And there you have it. Thank you for watching Sci-Fi Tech. I hope you learned something new, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and of course click on the bell icon to be notified for future Sci-Fi Tech videos. Till the next tech, goodbye.